Right, so this is the 420 Daimler. This is in its last high build epoxy NOVOL for classic car hybrid primer. We just buzzed this one over with a 500 DA just to get all the 320 scratches out from blocking. Now we're going to give it a nice wet flat with some 800 wet and dry. That's why it's got all the guide coat on it. We're just rough masking the apertures so we don't get any you know, dirty water in the door shuts and inside the car. Obviously we'll get a bit in the shuts through the gaps, but we've already painted all the apertures and the backs of the doors and put all the doors back on. The reason we really do that with this job is because the doors, when the car's painted, they're a nightmare to get back on. So we decided to do it this way. You know, this car hasn't been back to bare metal. It is just a repaint. But even so, you know, it's still got to be done properly. So let's come round here. Like I say, we're going to give it a nice wet flat with 800 wet and dry because it's a metallic base coat. If it was a solid colour, 600 would be fine. So this is a paper we're going to be using. So just as a little, you know, little tip here. So a lot of people just get a full sheet and then they'd fold it in half and then fold it in half again, which is okay, but what happens, you end up wasting 1/2 sheet because when you're rubbing down with these two surfaces, these ones in here end up rubbing together and just wear the abrasive out, so you really only get one side out of it. So the best thing to do is tear that sheet in half and then we just fold it in 3 like that, so that when that surface is done, you've got that surface there, and then you can open it up and refold it like that to end up getting all 3 surfaces out of it, and then you get to use the whole sheet. Right, so it's nearly ready. We'll set the camera up for a minute and just start giving it a bit of a wet flat. We never use a bucket of water for this process because obviously the bucket can get a load of grit in it. We've got a warm soapy bucket of water there just with some fairy liquid in and a clean microfiber cloth. So all we use that for is just to keep the job nice and clean while we're actually flattening it. You know, we'll flatten area and then we'll wash it off with some soapy water, wring the cloth out and just try and keep everything as clean as possible. So we use a pump spray bottle like this. It's just got some warm water in it and a little bit of fairy liquid. The fairy liquid just gives you a little bit of lubrication, if you like. Yeah, and just flatten this by hand, no need to block it, it's already been blocked out. This, all we're doing here is really just refining the surface to put our base coat on. You know, and when you come to this stage and you're doing it nice and gently by hand, you always find a few little bits and pieces that would definitely show through a light coloured base coat like this. So, you know, the very best way to do it, just take your time. Otherwise, these sorts of colours, you can paint them, put them in the sun, and you can definitely end up seeing some sort of marks and scratches in the base coat if you're not very particular about it. So yeah, we're going to set the camera up, just do a bit of wet flatting down this side. We'll probably speed it up a little bit because it's pretty tedious to watch. So yeah, we'll be back with you in a sec. So we're not really using much pressure at all, just really gently. To be honest, the thing with this epoxy high build primer, you don't get loads of sludge like you do from a normal acrylic primer. So it does make this part of the job a little bit cleaner than it would have been, like I say, with an acrylic primer. Just, you know, following all the shapes. That's why, you know, we're just trying to smooth everything out, especially this car's got lots of curves and stuff on it. So the reason that we do this wet, I know everyone will say it's messy and it's a bit old school, but we've definitely found if you use a dry paper, and there's some really good sort of dry foam papers about now, but what happens is the dust that you create goes onto the dry paper and creates these little tiny balls on it, and in turn they end up just like scratching your surface. So, you know, that's why we like to do it this way, because the water, as you know, just gets rid of, you know, any sediment that builds up on the paper. Okay, so that's enough of that for now. You can see the idea, just keeping it all clean and being very thorough about it. There's probably quite a few bits on there I need to go back over when I've checked it thoroughly, but we're going to carry on with this. So let's cut to it in the oven, masking it, ready for paint. So it's a couple of days later. As you can see, we've got the car all flatted down, all masked up. We've masked the shuts out. These have got a flip edge down them, so we'll have minimal edge inside our freshly painted door shuts that we can just nip out and just polish in, so you won't see that transition on them edges. Quite looking forward to painting this morning. It's Saturday today. I'm sort of here on my own, so I'm going to try and film it. I've rigged up a setup so I can have the camera on my air-fed mask, and obviously I'll do the best to get some decent footage of me painting it. I will set the camera up in the corner now and again as well, so you can get an overall view of what's going on. But just warmed the booth up this morning because it's really cold. Just got everything up to temperature, so we're going to panel wipe it a couple of times. First we'll start off with a solvent based degreaser, clean all the car down. Well, just a little tip when using solvent based degreasers, people normally just spray it on and wipe it straight off, but you should leave it sitting on there for a few seconds just to help loosen or melt any sort of grease or contaminants that have been left on the panel. So yeah, we'll do solvent first. We'll dry all that down, get it all nice and clean, and then we'll finish off with a waterborne degreaser, because normally waterborne degreasers have got quite a lot of static free agents in them, just to take the static out of the job. We will anti-static and we will tack it, you know, a lot. One thing just to mention, maybe I've said this before, but always tack your masking as well. Especially, you can imagine you're pulling that paper off of a roll and that creates static in the paper and just attracts dust to it. So we want to try and get rid of all that. Just make sure the masking's all good and tight, it all looks nice. So yeah, I'm going to get suited up in a clean new white paper overall, get some gloves on, and we'll come in and start panel wiping it off. We'll have the oven running while we do that. It just, the heat and the air movement just really helps the solvent evaporate away when you finish cleaning it down. But obviously, bonnet, these are the petrol flaps. This is the air intake flap off the scuttle for the ventilation system. We're painting the hinges as well for the customer because they just wanted to be freshened up a bit. And the boot, you can see this lighter grey primer around here. This is our NOVOL epoxy aerosol primer, and it's really only designed for going on little rub throughs, you know. So if you're prepping the panel and you get a little rub through on an edge, like you can see we had up the edge of this bonnet, we just flick one coat of that on and just give it a little tiny wet sand, just, you know, to take any dust away that it might have created. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get ready, get some degreaser on it, start getting it ready to paint. Okay, so that's all the base coat on and dried out. You can see how beautifully flat the NOVOL Wave waterborne base coat lays. Just very nice. This colour's golden sand, pearlescent golden sand, and you can see it's just laid out so nice. So that's ready now to get some clear coat on, and we're going to be putting on the NOVOL Spectral 50500. That's their sort of like high gloss, best quality clear coat, really made for like refinish, but people paint a lot of custom cars and stuff like that in it, so it'll be perfect for this lovely old Daimler. Right, let's go in the mixing room. I'll mix some of that up and be back with you in a minute. Okay, so that was a bit of a mission. I've been here about 6 hours today. It's sort of time to go home. We've finished painting the Jag. It's got 2 coats of clear on it, ultra high solid. Let me give you a look round it. So I'm very pleased. It's come out really nice. It looks really clean. You know, all the effort of cleaning it, panel wiping it, tacking it, that's, you know, it pays off. A few little nibs in the roof, but they'll all come out with a little polish. But overall, I'm very pleased with it. It's had a bake now, half hour at 60 degrees. We normally put the oven up to about 70 for half an hour to get a 60-degree panel temperature. So like I say, Monday we can start putting it together, you know, give it a little polish where it needs it, cut little dust nibs, nothing really too much to worry about, and then we can get the boot and bonnet on it, get it back to the customer. I think he might be having a ceramic coating on it, so we're not quite sure yet. There's a possibility that we'll be doing that for him as well. So yeah, all in all, you know, a really good Saturday at work. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and you know, if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, makes a massive difference to us, and we'll see you in the next one.